Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Esteban Hour, and thank you for joining us today. You know what I say? If you woke up this morning, today is a great day. Today's topic is a special edition of Week in Review. What is that? That is about the second indictment of Mr. Donald J. Trump. That's right, the second indictment. The federal government has indicted him on 7 counts, 37 charges. Uh, Former president, wow, wow. The first former president to be indicted on federal charges. And Trump is in mode, full panic mode. And so that's why we decided we need a special edition so we can air out our grievances. We don't know when we're going to get this opportunity again. But before we start, let's bring in our co-host, Mr. Jeremy Baker. Hey, Jeremy.
What's up, man? Let's do this. It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
Oh my God, is it ever? We
How was
have
it?
to do a whole episode on this guy. I'm so tired of talking about Donald Trump, but we can't get away from him.
Yeah. I figured, if we devote a whole show to it, then perhaps afterward we won't talk about it at all. I'd rather talk about it all for 1 hour, and then afterward, don't bring up his name again.
Until next week.
Until
next week.
Right? Yeah. The next indictment,
Yeah.
the next lie, whatever. Okay. But before we get into talking on the discussion, we have a guest tonight for the first time on the Esteban Hours Weekend Review, Miss Lana Quest from the Quest Show. Hello.
So happy to be here. Hi, guys.
Thank you for joining us. It's
Thank
our
you for
pleasure
having
that
me.
you are here the first time.
Yeah. I'm excited. Hopefully, it's not the last.
No.
Hopefully, it will not be the last.
I'll play nice.
Okay.
I'll play nice.
Please.
I doubt it, but
so I can get invited back.
Okay. All right. So we know that Trump was arrested and arraigned today from the indictment that was handed down last week. That was done today, I believe about 3 p.m. It did not go down in the same manner as the hush money case. We don't have any pictures at all, like we did with Trump coming through the hallway and nobody held the door for him.
That was
we didn't get that privilege today, so we don't know if anyone held the door for him today. But we do know that they had an underground passageway that led directly into the courthouse, because someone's saying, "Hey, is Trump here? We didn't see him." And, they took him right through underground to go and handle his business. But okay, so the first thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to get on record the actual press conference made by the special counsel Jack Smith. So why don't we play that first, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Okay.
Now approaching the podium at an undisclosed location in Washington, given the nature of this case. Let's listen.
Get him, Jack.
Good afternoon. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice. And our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world.
That's right.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
That's right.
Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
Man,
The prosecutors in my office are among the most talented and experienced in the Department of Justice. They have investigated this case hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused. We very much look forward to presenting our case to a jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida. In conclusion, I would like to thank the dedicated public servants of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with whom my office is conducting this investigation, and who work tirelessly every day upholding the rule of law in our country. I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
That's the man.
I don't think it could have been done any better than that. Short, to the point, and he mentioned everything that was essential to mention. He gave props and honor to his people. After all of the Republicans are, casting them to hell, he gave them the honor, respect, and praise. And then he said, read the documents.
Right.
Read the documents.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what we're about to do. Because I was thorough this week, and I followed Jack Smith's advice and actually read the indictment.
Oh, did you?
And wow. Well, I got through about half of it, and I'm like, this dude is toast. So this is the actual indictment. Hopefully everybody can see it okay. And what I want to do is go down to, now I want to know real quick, I want to just note something. The Department of Justice, their track record against citizens or the Department of Justice in general has over a 99% conviction rate on cases that have way less evidence than Donald Trump's case.
That's right.
But what I wanted to note here on number 3, the classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities, I can't say it, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States, foreign relations, the safety of the United States military and human sources, and the continued viability of sensitive intelligence collection methods. That, to me, is one of the biggest statements in that entire indictment. Not only does it say what he took, it tells you that he could have put all of our lives at risk with the information that he had.
And if you ask my opinion, he still can. I believe he still has documents. In fact, that document about Iran's nuclear system, it's been over a year. They still can't find it.
Nope. Yeah. And then I'll point out, and I guess I'll just share that picture real quick with everybody. Not that one. I gotta get the right picture. This is a small little Easter egg that I found that I think everybody will appreciate. And in this one picture here, if you look right over where I pointed these arrows, that is a photocopy machine. And that is not an office where a photocopier should be. That is in a basement room somewhere.
in the basement, in the bathroom.
That's
Right.
what I mean. Like this, he's made copies.
Right. I mean, let's be real. Trump doesn't do anything unless it benefits Trump. So Trump didn't take documents to decorate and use as wallpaper. Like
Right.
just when they were asking for the documents, who was golfing at his spot? The
Hello.
Saudis. Like it was all around the same time. And the interesting thing is, can't just go 1 second. I find it funny because you were saying how Trump, they had him going underground. So Trump was in the Underground Railroad. Is that what we're saying? Like he traveling through the Underground Railroad. But anyway, we know that the indictment, how it was listed out, is not half of what Jack Smith has on Donald Trump. I am willing to bet a small sum of money that those documents went to other people. There's no way that he didn't disseminate that stuff on to other. He didn't just have those for almost 2 years and no one saw those documents.
Right.
He didn't give them to anyone.
Right. That's not part of his MO.
Doesn't even make sense.
No,
Right.
not at all. He's not going to harbor all those boxes and for no reason and not use them.
Exactly.
Especially when he finds out that they're on him, right? And they're about to come in and seize them. No.
He got all loans too. Stop playing for money.
I mean, what kills me is his main defense is still the Presidential Records Act. And I hate Trump for this because now I'm reading indictments and I'm reading the Presidential Record Act. Who does that? Who sits around and reads the presidential? But anyway, in the record, in that act, apparently I do. In that act, it says specifically that everything belongs to the National Archives. Now, you can submit if you want to keep some mementos, but you have to submit it in writing, and it has to be approved by the archivist. Donald Trump cannot just take what he wants. That's not how it works. No matter what he says or what BS line he wants to say on Fox News or on whatever Truth Social, it's not how it works. But they believe him because they go, "Oh, that sounds official. The Presidential Records Act. He was the president. He has records. That makes total sense."
Yeah, which is funny. Was he the president? He wasn't even the president. So none of what they say make a lick of sense. It just doesn't.
And when the Republicans are spitting out their defense, they're holding on to that talking point that as the president, he is able to do what he wants with those with the classified documents. But they stop short to say up until 12 noon, January 20, 2021. After that point, anything in his possession that he did not rightfully declassify, he needs to give back. And he did.
Even things that aren't declassified or that are declassified, he just can't keep it. You know what I mean? He has to get written permission to be able to keep stuff as president. Right. But he's so used to just taking what he wants,
and that's the part. I mean, remember there were he wasn't taking, he was burning, because remember Casey Hutchinson testified that every time she turned around, there's a fireplace roaring. He is 90 degrees. Yeah, like fire going, and he's flushing and burning.
But let's not forget
to believe that there were documentation of things done or said that he does not want the public or other politicians to find out about. So now the question is, what is that?
I think the other thing I think on the one Fox News clip we have, they kind of talk about it a little bit. In the indictment, it explains that these documents, especially top secret documents, are only allowed to be viewed in what's called a SCIF, SCIF, Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility. That place is locked up, top secret, in Mar-a-Lago is not a SCIF. And honestly, Kevin McCarthy's response to being asked about this is laughable at best.
We have a clip of that, actually.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's
so
okay.
angry.
Let's play that, and then you finish your what you were going to say. Here we go.
So was that a good look for the former president to have boxes in a bathroom?
I don't know. Is it a good picture to have boxes in a garage that opens up all the time? A bathroom door locked. So look, I don't want people to take these documents away. The vice president, Pence, but as a senator, you'd have to steal the documents. You know what concerns me is you have these a lot of these documents behind a Corvette in a garage.
Unbelievable. So immediately they go to Biden. They have what I call the whatabouts. And they do this on Fox News all the time. As soon as you bring up a fact, they go, well, what about Biden? Or what about Hillary when she did this? Well, what about it? We're not talking
but
about
it doesn't
that.
make
We're talking
sense.
about
But they don't make, like, that's the thing that, like, makes me want to, like, throw somebody, because, like, they have no fucking comments. Can I swear on your show?
No.
They don't have
no F-bombs.
They have no common sense. What about, I heard that. What about Biden? What about Hillary? What about Pence, right? No one will mention Pence's name. Why? He's a Republican and he's running for president. So in their stupid trying to twist the pretzel and bend it around and say, well, Biden had these. So did Pence. Like, that argument is dead and dumb. They gave them back. Matter of fact, they called up and said, yo, come get these.
Right.
It's a hot spot here.
Right.
Actually, both Pence and Biden initiated it.
Exactly.
The FBI didn't come after them. They didn't have to initiate a subpoena and all that
and
stuff.
They didn't move anything around. It was exactly where they saw it.
Exactly.
Came in, took it, and that was that.
They didn't flood the pool room.
I mean, imagine that. Almost 2 years. Hey, we think you got some documents. Nope, no, I don't. No, you're talking about. Yeah, you do. Give him some of them. I mean, that's why they're going to try to get his attorney's, what's his face's testimony thrown out, because his attorney's like, no, you got to give them back. This is a crime. Right. He's like, well, we're just going to basically hide them. You're not going to know where they are, so don't worry about it. Like, what the?
And it's come out, too, that he, in some conversations with his own attorneys, he was asking them, should we not just say we don't have them? I mean, who does that? Mobsters do that, right?
That is how he does
it. On recording.
Teenagers do that.
That is how he has done his business.
I am almost sure I could be the prosecutor for the Department of Justice at this point and win this case. I mean, video evidence, pictures, audio recordings, notebooks. Mark Meadows, his former chief of staff, I just confirmed this week, has agreed to plead guilty for a lesser sentence to testify against Donald Trump. That is the guy that was his chief of staff. He knows everything.
It's Nixon era all over again, because the I forget his name. He's on CNN all the time. But the lawyer that testified in Congress against Nixon, he's the one that brought him down. He's the one that gave the evidence that was needed in order for the Republicans to issue that threat: resign or you will be impeached. And I think that this is going to happen again with Mark Meadows for sure.
Do you think that the Republicans will actually get to that place? Because I am just not so sure that they will ever be at a place.
Yeah, it's clear,
which is good for us.
Are different species right now.
Yeah. Honestly, okay. The only hope I see for the Republican Party, and Esteban disagrees with me on this, but I think it's starting to gain traction. I think the only viable candidate the Republicans have is Chris Christie. He is the only one. But think about it. He's the only one that's willing to go through Trump and tear him down. He is the only one that has a spine that's willing to go after him. I mean, that's what the only way you're going to win over MAGA is to take him away from Trump. That's the only way you're going to win.
I want to hear Lana's point of view.
So Chris Christie is there only not for himself. Chris Christie is not going to be president. He knows that. Because you have to think there's always this is chess. Politics is like chess. This is strategic. Chris Christie is there to tear down Trump, but not for himself. Chris Christie is there to tear down Trump so that DeSantis can move up, because DeSantis is right there. They want DeSantis. They all want DeSantis. And what Chris Christie and the rest of those fools want is a job in administration. So that's what they're all fighting for. Like they're not going to be Chris Christie.
Now, I think Trump is the single greatest threat to democracy, but I think that DeSantis is the single greatest threat to freedom.
Yes.
I see World War II Germany. I see internment camps. I see deportations. I see segregation under Ron DeSantis. That is exactly what I see.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it either, because I hate the guy. I think he's the most oppressive piece of shit.
He and his
wife.
Say
that word.
Well, don't even. Oh, we can say shit. Okay.
Yeah, you can say shit.
And his wife. I just can't.
It took me a couple weeks to work that into the show, but he let me say that.
F-U-Q. I'm not saying that CK. I'm saying F-U-Q.
Hey, as long as you spell it.
Listen, I am convinced with this indictment here, all of the mental challenges that everyone might have thought Donald Trump has, I'm convinced that this is it. This is the proof that shows there's something mentally unstable there. Okay, for several reasons. Number one, even with 37 counts or charges, he's still saying his documents, right? Still saying that. There's got to be something just unstable, not there, delusional. You haven't even heard him say not one time, I don't know, let's let a jury choose. No, it's totally mine. I had the right. And it's constantly, the question is, who does that? Nobody in their right mind does that. Nobody who's honest or reasonable does that. So I'm like, this is really showing the mental impairness of this gentleman who wants to be our commander-in-chief for the second time.
Yeah, what in anybody's right mind would want to give this guy access to nuclear weapons? Are you out of your freaking minds? This guy,
especially the second time. The first time was a try effect, right? Let's see what he was going to do. So now we know what he's capable of, or what's in that head of his. Give him a second time.
Retribution. He said it.
Yeah.
He said it. But also, I don't, he does have some mental issues for sure. Not a doctor. Am a paralegal, but he definitely does.
Not stupid.
But he also was on audio saying that he absolutely knew that those documents were not his and that he was not supposed to have them. So there's the quandary.
While he's still publicly saying
for his donors, so he can collect that money.
And then Jim Jordan, the head of the Judiciary Committee, which I might remind everybody is not a licensed attorney, goes on television and tries to justify it.
He's just not an attorney.
They're like, well, he said he's not allowed to. Like, he just kept going in this circle of saying the same thing over and over again. It's like, well, he declassified him. Well, no, it's on the audio that he didn't declassify, and he knew that. Well, then he just kept going. He just made such an ass of himself. These people still defend him with the massive amounts of evidence, an overwhelming amount of evidence.
Overwhelming.
I mean, this must be a prosecutor's dream of a case.
Let's look into a little bit of his response to Jack Smith's press conference. Let's get a little loud.
This gives me a headache. I get nauseous.
Sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first. And they go after him on a boxer's hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. This has been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person.
All right, stop it. Stop it. I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore.
How many times can one of us do something wrong and bad, go to court before the judge and say, I'm innocent, and the judge not laugh in our face?
Right.
And how's it a hoax when there's photographic evidence? And the FBI did not take those pictures. Those pictures were taken by Walt Nauta and texted around to other people.
Yes. And as Lana
that's where
brought
those
out,
pictures came from.
Recordings in your own voice.
Your own voice. What do you
How do you?
Where do you see the hoax?
Exactly. Yeah, where's the hoax? Where's the witch hunt? I think we caught the witch.
Yeah, they're not playing it on Fox News, and like you said, they're not reading that indictment because they were doing MSNBC were, they were out in Miami asking the people who were outside for Trump, like, have you read the indictment? No, they just listen to the orange god. They don't want, they just don't want to know the truth. It's almost like somebody who has a feeling that someone's cheating on them.
Yes.
But you just don't want to know. You know it. You just don't want to hear it. You don't want to see it. You just ignore it like it's going to go away. And it's not. I mean, Republicans care more about guarding uteruses than they do about the national security. How did we get here?
That's a good point. My God, how did we get here? I mean,
it's called Trumpism. Yeah. That's how
it is. Definitely called Trumpism.
But
but I was actually.
I want to bring up a quick point with Lana saying that. How did we get here? My opinion, how we got here, is the hate for Hillary Clinton. That's how we got here. Mm-hmm. So everybody who put her down and refused to vote for a woman and said, no, I can't vote for her. This is how we got here because of that. And I'm hoping that we're not going to go through it again in 2024 because there are many that do not agree that Biden should not run because he's too old. He is too old. But did you not learn anything?
Right.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I'd
rather have senile old Biden than thieving, lying Trump any day of the week.
And it's funny because he's not even senile. Here's the thing. I mean he's old, so he forgets stuff. So do I. I mean, but Biden's a whole attorney. Like, we keep forgetting, like, Biden is an attorney. He was a defense attorney. That's what he did. He's been in the Senate for years. That man
that's all he knows.
With experience. It is his life. And they keep trying to, I listen to Chris Christie attack Trump because I just like to hear that. But then he would say, like, we need to be, more focused on Biden and the horrible job he's doing. I'm like, where? Unemployment is down. Unemployment is down. Jobs are just everywhere. And
inflation is down.
I was going to say, and low key inflation is down, and nobody's talking about the cost of eggs and the price of gas. And
even the border is more secure.
70% less crossings. No one's talking about that.
Literally everything they complained about.
Yeah. You don't hear much of that from the Republicans, right? Because there's nobody there. But again, I blame the Democrats. I blame the Democrats.
And not loud enough.
Not loud enough at all. It's like they take it for granted and then boo-hoo complain when it doesn't work their way. Come on.
Right. It's kind of the media too, right? It's like the media too, because the media loves the crazy. You know what? Gavin Newsom was on Sean Hannity, so kudos to him.
Yes.
Yeah, he tore him apart too.
It was good.
He him up.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Which, as I was watching him, I kept saying to myself, President.
Me too, right? Yes. Yeah.
That's all I
actually,
President Newsom.
You know what it be? You'd think Fox News, after losing almost $800 million, would learn their lesson, but no, they've even doubled down.
Yes.
On the rhetoric. Some of the Fox, I'll give credit to some of the Fox, and we actually have a clip from that. One of the couple of the Fox News hosts are like, "This is just stupid anymore." A couple of Fox legal analysts that have supported Trump for years even are like, "This is bad." You know what I mean? So they're starting to come around, but like, what's that new guy's name? I can't remember. The one that screams. It sounds like he talks like this and yells at the time. Trump's coming. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about? What is his name?
I'm watching.
And then Sean Hannity. He's like the guy. He's some old guy. I guess they used to replace Tucker Carlson. I mean, all he does is scream into the microphone with his nasally voice and just nonsense. Calling this an insurrection. This indictment is an insurrection. Like, shut up. It's so bad. And these people get paid millions of dollars to talk this stuff, man, while other people struggle to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it came out today also, an article about the GOP senators that after this, they really want Trump to go away. You know, there's a divide between House Republicans and GOP senators. There's a divide. The House Republicans have been more loud in their defense for Trump, regardless of what he's done. The Senate, the GOP, the Republican senators, they have kept quiet, but they're not really in his pocket. They really believe that he was a bad president, that the behaviors and styles that he engages in is not a Republican value.
Right. Except for Josh Hawley, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Maybe Marsha Blackburn.
Yeah, and a couple. Where's Tom Cotton? Is he a senator? Is he a House? I don't.
There's
a couple.
Yeah, Tim Cotton. J.D. Vance, as a matter of fact, it came out today. J.D. Vance said that he would vote to pardon all of the January 6th insurrectionists.
And they will all vote. And even before we give too much credit to the Republican senators, Romney, the other Lindsey
Graham.
No, what's the other guy in the Senate? Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
They'll all vote for Donald Trump if he is the nominee.
Yes. Isn't that a shame?
Yeah.
Mike Pence said the same thing. Mike Pence said any president who expected him to go against the Constitution should never be president again. Yeah. But I'm going to vote for him. What? Are we in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, we're in some kind of weird alternate reality where nothing makes sense anymore.
At all. Because
I'm losing my mind.
If you don't have the values that I believe in, I'm not voting for you.
Yo, say that again, because he said he's such an awful person and president and tried to harm my family, but I'll vote.
But I vote for him. And they're all saying that. It's absolutely crazy. It's asinine.
I don't think them all saying they're going to pardon the insurrectionists is going to win over the majority of America. It's going to win over the MAGA base, and that is it.
Exactly.
The majority of America does not want insurrectionists on the street. Yeah. Sorry, we don't. We don't like you. You're not patriots. You're the most anti-American people in this country.
And even more so after today's indictment, and even more so when we get past the Georgia indictments.
August.
That was turning into a big case. Yeah. That is a big case. That is a racketeering case now. That's not just election fraud anymore. That's turning into a RICO case.
Yes.
And if you look at the banner down at the bottom, I got a little extra information on that too. There were some names were dropped of a secret meeting that was attended by certain members of the House Republicans.
Yeah.
Which will be part of Jack Smith's investigation. So I think we may see multiple indictments on that front.
It's going to be big, especially J6. Yeah. The trail of J6, those visitors that just happened to be shown around the Capitol building prior to the insurrection.
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was giving tours.
Yes.
Yes.
And telling people where to go. Okay, that is participation in an insurrection. I'm sorry, you help orchestrate and organize that shit.
I think everyone is still waiting to find out if that was her that planted that bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't put it past anybody. You know, Marjorie, I call her Captain Crazy Pants. She's been awful quiet for the last couple of days since Trump went ahead and dissed her in public. I haven't heard much from her in the last couple of days.
She's out loud. See, you're not on Twitter.
She's still?
Oh no, she's loud and proud. Let me tell you, she's doing investigations.
Nothing shuts that woman up, man.
She did a whole fake video of her walking to whatever committee to get evidence about who knows what about Biden and Hunter. It was just she was trying to get the attention away from Trump. So no, she's still doing what she does, neighing. I didn't know they had stables in the back of the Capitol, but apparently they do.
I didn't know that either.
I don't know. I mean, she takes breaks for her food bag.
You made me swallow my spit. Oh,
I think there's like pony rides that happen in the back.
Just throw a saddle on her. She's good to go.
Let's talk about the many, many lawyers that continuously shut Trump down. They do not want to represent him. In fact, today's arraignment almost didn't happen, right? Because up until the very last minute, he couldn't find a Florida lawyer. I mean, is that not, as a past president, is that not beyond outrageous? You're an ex-president and nobody wants to be seen with you.
I swear to God, this is a quote from an actual lawyer. He goes, Trump is a nightmare client. That is why he refused to represent him. But if you can't represent somebody that lies to you, if you're the attorney, I mean, Ilana, you're a paralegal. If your client continuously lies to you and then you represent those lies.
And it's harder to get out, too. It's not a civil case. It's criminal. So once you lock in, you're locked in. You can't just be switching over like that in a criminal case. It doesn't happen. So that's why a lot of them are like, because you're in it. Once you have filed that appearance, you're in it.
Right.
You're there for the long haul. Good luck to you. And he ain't going to pay you. So,
and
that's what I said. Get paid up front.
There's got to be hundreds of lawyers in Florida alone.
Right.
And to not be able to get one, and it was just for the arraignment. It wasn't even for your case, just for the arraignment, and everyone said no, sorry, I pass.
Right.
That's crazy.
It should tell you something when two lawyers bail the day of or the day after the indictment comes out. I mean, that should tell you right there how bad it is.
I don't know the guy's name that he has now, and I don't know if it's the one that's going to be one. I'm sure he's going to have multiple, but the one that signed on for the arraignment, if he filed a notice of appearance, he's going to be on for the duration because he just didn't file it, whatever. But they were saying that, and it's got to be this guy, that this guy himself had been in trouble for some type of money laundering or something like that. And the case just got dismissed like this month for him, this guy, this attorney. So now he's able to practice. So it's like Trump gets like the worst of the worst. Like the guys who don't mind doing the dirty work because they're kind of dirty themselves. That's what he's getting.
Right. But that's who he wants.
It's true.
Yes. That is absolutely right. That's who he wants. You're absolutely right. He wants a lawyer that will help him commit crimes. He doesn't want a lawyer to help him get away with stuff. He just wants, he wants a lawyer to help him get away with stuff.
Cover up.
He doesn't want legal advice because he doesn't listen to legal advice. He wants you to tell him how to manipulate the law so he can do whatever he wants.
He's in a whole nother ball game right now. So federal court, I don't know. You want to play with that? That's no joke. Federal court is different from state.
Totally different. Totally. The only bad thing in this case, in this part, that would be is if Trump was to actually win, or a Republican,
Right.
they can make this entire thing
Right.
go away.
Right.
That's
They
the
can
only
pardon him.
bad part, where the state he still has to face charges in New York and in Georgia. But it's obvious this is probably going to be his biggest case. All of these charges and the severity of what these charges are, multiple violations of the Espionage Act. I mean, since when did that happen? It's been centuries. Since that happened to either another president or a federal politician. And who thinks that has Trump actually grasped that thought, that how much trouble he could possibly be in, or is he really thinking and banking on his MAGA supporters and fellow Republicans coming to his aid so that he wouldn't spend not one day in jail?
Honestly, I think he's still going to flee the country, but that's just my opinion. But he looks very deflated today. I've seen a couple of. He does not look good. I think this hit him harder than.
Yeah,
I think his lie. Because he had like that Boris Epstein guy. I know for a fact he wasn't exactly reporting what was going on to Trump. He was sugarcoating it for Trump. So I think Trump didn't even realize what was going on until it was too late. Now. I mean, it's over. I don't see how he could possibly get out of this. And Jack Smith knows that if Donald Trump wins in 2024, he can pardon himself. Jack Smith knows this. So I have a feeling, like Jack Smith said, this case is going to be swift. There's not going to be any BS motions to whatever. And hopefully this case is closed before the next election.
Right. Yeah. We need an actual verdict.
Well, that's the problem, because it may not be swift. And that's the issue with Cannon being the judge right now, because she sets the timeline.
Yes. That throws a wrench in the whole process.
Speaking of that, when I heard that, I did curse. I said, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
Hey, not both of you.
Did I hear F-U-Q?
Yes, it did. Yes,
he did.
But because I said, how did this happen? Is this the same broad that did what she did before, and in random we got her again? I said, oh no. See, the stars are just not paying attention here. Okay. We finally got the indictments that everyone has been waiting years for to now pass it to this judge. What the hell?
And she could definitely slow things down. She can try,
but like there's only so much she can slow. Like because she's got to have reasons why she's setting things, before when they do the arraignment. Everything is like when the discovery is due, when this is due. It's dates. Like she's
they gotta go by precedents of past cases.
Right. And he deserves a quick trial, what he's not going to want, but also the government and the people, because the government is representing the people. We deserve a quick trial too. So it's only so far because Florida is the rocket docket, right? That's what it's called, the rocket docket. So cases go real quick through there. So for her to like stifle it too much is going to be too obvious. And she already got in trouble by the 11th district. So they're watching her ass anyway. Can I say ass?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
PG-13. We're good. PG-13.
Yes.
I feel like a referee with you two.
All true. all true. I think she'll be on her P's and Q's, but I think she will push some buttons.
She will.
Because she also has to show Trump and the Republicans that she's on their side.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I didn't realize how about this? Could we just, I didn't realize we're 45 minutes already. Good Lord. Could we show Bill Barr's reaction to the whole thing? Because Bill Barr was obviously in Trump's corner up until Jan 6th. I think it's important to get his response.
All right, here we go. This was an interview that Bill Barr just recently did on the Fox News Network. Check it out.
Bill Barr, who served in the Trump administration, knows the former president very well. Mr. Attorney General, welcome back to Fox News Sunday. Good to have you. What about this chief argument that comes up for the president's allies and his legal team that this should have been handled under the Presidential Records Act, not this Espionage Act charge and other federal statutes that were used here?
Well, it started out under the Presidential Records Act and the archives trying to retrieve documents that Trump had no right to have. But it quickly became clear that what the government was really worried about were these classified and very sensitive documents. I was shocked by the degree of sensitivity of these documents and how many there were, frankly. And so the government's agenda was to get those, protect those documents and get them out. And I think it was perfectly appropriate to do that. It was the right thing to do. And I think the counts under the Espionage Act that he willfully retained those documents are solid counts. Now, I do think we have to wait and see what the defense says and what proves to be true. But I do think that even half of what Andy McCarthy said, which is if even half of it is true, then he's toast.
He's toast. That's Bill Barr. And Trump went ballistic after that interview. He freaked out, attacked Bill Barr, said he was just lazy and useless.
Called him a pig. Like,
yeah, and he fired him when Bill Barr resigned. I mean, Donald Trump's just so full of shit. I swear to God, it just comes out of him. Maybe that's what that orange is. Maybe it's just shit coming out of his pores, and that's what color it turns when it comes out of your skin. I don't know. Something's wrong with that guy. He's chemically imbalanced.
I'm happy to see that finally some of those Republicans are coming around and speaking truth. But at the same time, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
Because you sheltered this crazy man for months and years at a time. Okay. You helped him get away with a lot of the things that he did get away with. And now that you're no longer under his administration, now you feel the need to have honor. No.
I wonder if they would say,
I think
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I think it's important though, just because it's on Fox News, and you know who watches Fox News. So I think it's important, even though Bill Barr's, I don't agree with him, I don't like him at all. But I think it's important for the people that do watch Fox News to see somebody like Bill Barr, who did support Trump in the past, go, he's toast. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that Fox News starts to play the reality of the situation, that Trump is in a lot of trouble. Not a little bit, a whole lot of trouble.
They're just calling him Dem operative. They're not going to believe him. Because he's nobody. And honestly, I kind of think that the Bill Barrs and there's a couple of other people who aren't running for any office have said it because they have DeSantis. Like, if there was no DeSantis, do we really think that these people, the people that are going against Trump, would be saying this stuff? Because they wouldn't have anyone else that has a chance. Right. DeSantis has a fighting chance. If it was just Trump, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, the regular Rubio, I don't know if they would be quick to be saying this, but DeSantis has a fairly large following. People like those kind of people like what he's doing. So I don't know.
That scares me though.
I don't know if they would be saying this if they didn't have a safety net, and DeSantis is the safety net.
I agree with that, but I will say the more legal woes come upon Trump, the more Trump is winning.
Right.
So, as we get through the year, as we get towards the end of the year, I believe if Trump is still over 60% in polls by the end of the year, he's going to be the Republican.
Yes, score. That's what we want.
Right.
That's the perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. So we want.
DeSantis scares me though.
Yeah, exactly. DeSantis is very.
DeSantis scares the hell out of me. He's a nasty person.
Yeah.
The guy's terrible with people to begin with. And look at any time he interacts with a crowd, it's just completely awkward. The guy has no charisma whatsoever, and he's a hateful little bastard. I mean, the anti-trans bills, thank God the judge blocked that so people could still receive gender affirming care. You know, and I'm glad Texas is at least bringing up the fact that Ron DeSantis illegally transported immigrants across state lines under false pretenses. I mean, that's usually what people call human trafficking. And there were minors aboard those planes that were promised, you know, they were given a ride on a fancy plane that he spent like $12 to $15 million to charter, sending all these immigrants to another state with promises of jobs, benefits, opportunities, housing. They didn't even know these people were coming. And DeSantis did it multiple times.
In fact, wasn't that what the interview was about with Governor Gavin Newsom, that he was threatening to bring up kidnapping charges against DeSantis?
I think it's fair. I mean, the guy took people and lied to them and just shipped them around the country at the government at the taxpayer expense, no less.
Right. I mean, we know that that's not going to happen, but I thought that was a beautiful way of him saying, dude, what the hell is your problem?
But he is being sued because the state we're suing him. The state of Massachusetts has sued Ron DeSantis for
really good.
Because remember, he sent them down the Cape.
Yes.
So right, they're suing him. Yeah, the charges probably not, but yeah, DeSantis is.
But see, with DeSantis, a lot of his hateful policies that he's trying to implement are being shot down. Like his migrant bill is blowing up in his face. It is destroying Florida. I mean, well, they had a meeting, they had a press conference where they were trying to tell employers to tell their migrant workers, we're just doing this bill for a political, political purposes. We're not actually going to enforce it.
Right.
Come on. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because the law, it would be on the books, which means it's enforceable. Even if they tell you they're not going to enforce it, they can turn around and start enforcing it.
Well, I have to say, just as I think with Democrats, I feel the people of the Floridians, they are to blame for what's coming out of Florida. Okay, they voted in this dude for the second time. Okay, so if they can't read their books, if they can't, have an abortion if they want, I don't want to necessarily say it's good for them, but you had to have seen this coming from the first 4 years. You had to, and you voted him in overwhelmingly.
Yeah,
come on,
because they've been successfully. Some suppressed, but there's a lot of votes. They were saying, like, I think Ron DeSantis won by, let's say, like 1 million votes, and there was like 3 million people that did not vote, right? Like, so it's like, I know and now it's even tougher because you gave him a second term and he's got the legislation and he's already been redrawing those maps. So he's just got a lock on Florida. Florida is just not going to change for a long time because he's changed it already. Like, even if they do come out and vote, he's redrawn the maps.
Right.
I can't wait to see property values drop and prices go through the roof in Florida.
It's already
as a result of his policies.
I was just about to say that, Lana. It's already happening, especially after this past big hurricane that they have, because he's doing horribly with that too. It's like he doesn't give a damn about people's property. And that's what America is supposed to be about. Okay, home ownership. And those properties are going into the toilet toilet bowl down there.
They can't get insurance either, right? Aren't they having a hard time getting insurance on those properties?
Yes.
Oh, and he's
some
out
insurance companies won't even insure him.
He's just chilling. He's just campaigning with Casey DeSantis or DeSantis or DeSantis or whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever.
I had heard as well that his tactic of dealing with that, with the insurance situation, is threatening his way through, taking away tax breaks or incentives in order to get them to play ball.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to say is that we're going broke, dude. We're going broke.
Yeah. That's how he's getting his donations too. He's like a mob boss too. He's Trump too.
If those idiots want to give their money because he's threatening them,
leave the state. Go to another state. Like what? He's just gonna treat you like
I
he's
think
in Disney World.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the states, not just Florida, that are suffering as a result of these red policies. Arkansas, I can think off the top of my head, that's really bad right now because of old Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's a gem. I mean, she actually is trying to get segregation laws thrown out.
She's another episode
in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia, Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, 12 years old.
Tennessee.
Work in a bar.
Look at all this. Look at all the stuff that's happened in Tennessee.
It just defies logic.
It does.
It does. It does.
Keeps you scratching your head.
Keeps you scratching your head. I mean, really? And I understand Republicans are for, money and wealth and stuff, but who's going to allow their 12-year-old child to go work and go flip burgers and be abused? They can wait till they're 16 for that. Who's going to allow their 12-year-old child to do that?
Pro-life. But I'm pro-life.
I know, right? Well, son, you finally hit puberty. It's time to get a job.
Everybody's a pedophile, but Republicans are out here saying children can get married and get a job and have babies, apparently.
Hello.
Again, like you said, it has me bashing my head off the wall most days. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. Everything's all backwards.
So in conclusion, I want to point out that 2024 is going to be one hell of a year. Okay, I'm comparing it to Armageddon. Really, it's going to be. We thought 2020 was bad, and then we thought 2022 was bad. 2024 is right around the corner, and I don't know. Put on your helmet, get your helmet, put your helmets on, put your knee pads on.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year.
It's going to be rough. That's putting it mildly. It's going to be a crazy ass year between Trump and all of his court cases that's going to actually be going on next year, between the Republican primary, between Biden and and the Democrats.
Yeah.
Here, Alana, you want to scratch your head? Let me show you a picture that'll have you scratching your head until your hair falls out.
Do it.
How in the world does this make any sense? How?
I don't even know what to say for that. Like, it's almost like a reverse. It's almost like a reverse cultural appropriation. Like, it's cultural appropriation, but nah. Like, it's like, what is that?
I don't get that. I saw that today. I was laughing hysterically.
Blacks, like, well, they might as well. Did they forget the because they probably want to say the blacks for Trump. Like, what is blacks for Trump?
Two white ladies walking around Miami, Florida with black for Trump shirts on. My God.
When I first saw that,
come to?
When Jeremy showed me that, the first thing I said in my head is, oh, wow, they couldn't get any blacks.
Right. Right. Well, you know what? We should be happy they didn't put some blackface on and try to pretend like they were. So maybe that's
true.
Would you be shocked at this point if that actually happened?
No.
And that's bad, actually. That makes me feel horrible to say that, but that's terrible. Like, if you saw somebody in blackface right now, I'd be like, that's a Trump supporter, probably.
Exactly.
And the Republicans would be defending it.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, it's just bad, I mean, Trump is an orange face. I don't know if that's a thing.
That is true.
Okay.
Like, for real, like, when you get your spray tan, don't stop, like, with an inch left of skin until your skin, like, it's orange from here, and then it's white all the way back. It's like,
I always say to myself, who tells him he looks good?
Listen, okay, this is
horrible.
This is another fun. I find obscure information about stuff like this. So this is a fun fact right here. Okay, Donald Trump does not do any work before his hair and makeup are done. Okay. His makeup takes 30 minutes. His hair takes an hour and a half. So for 2 hours every day that Donald Trump makes personal and public appearances, it takes him 2 hours to get ready, professionally ready by people that do his makeup and hair.
Well, what hair?
Does
he have hair? What is it taking?
I mean, he spends $70,000 a year on that mop. At least $70K a year on his hair. That's more than most people make in a year. He spends that on that hair. My God.
He spends that amount of money to look that bad. Imagine if he didn't do anything. Right? So maybe we should be appreciative that we don't have to look at him without any of that stuff on.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
If that happened, you know, if I was white and that happened to be my dad, I would be telling him no.
Or your husband.
Pops. No, we're not going out of a house like this, Pops.
Hell no.
Imagine that. Melania's like,
take away his tanning machine. Hide it.
All her clothes probably got like an orange. Like,
I was gonna say, you bet when he hugs you, he leaves like an orange imprint of hands on your back.
Have we ever seen Trump hug anyone?
Hell no.
No.
Who would want to?
And what's even more hilarious is, have you seen several pictures of other politicians that were close to him that they started to get orangey too? like Giuliani.
Oh Lord.
The picture with his hair color leaking down the side of his face is classic. I can't help it. I have to bring that up. That is
America's
not a good look.
mayor.
Like, you can't even
America's
put a permanent.
pervert.
He didn't put a permanent dye in his head. What is it? Was that spray or why would you?
That's that Rite Aid. That's that Rite Aid stuff that you just comb in real quick. And started sweating, and it was like, oh,
you that that's okay. You're sweating like a mile a minute, dude. Who sprayed that crap in your head?
Remember he farted in court?
I did not see though. I did not know about
And that woman sitting next to him was just like, I mean, it was like the wet one too. Like, what the hell?
All
right, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. You guys are killing me.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Lana, for coming on the show.
That was fun.
You are definitely welcome back. We love you.
Thank you.
God, that was good.
This is so fun.
And both of you all said the F word, and I didn't. That's not fair.
I will never say it again on his show.
I don't say it at all. So it was a once in a blue moon thing for me.
And I'm glad that you don't. My mom would have hated. She hated that word. So
mine too.
Yeah. So maybe I should.
Mine too. All right, fine. Mine too does.
No, we keep doing it, but in private.
Yeah.
Not on TV.
WTF. We'll just say that. WTF.
Okay. Thank you guys. This was an excellent conversation.
Yes.
Hopefully our audience members have learned a thing or two. We promise you that we will not discuss anything Trump related for the rest of the week.
Well, I make promises like that.
I'm on another podcast tomorrow, so probably gonna do that. And
well, good luck.
Thursday. So I got 2 more days of it.
I'm gonna do my best.
Damn well if Trump flees to Russia. You know damn well if Trump flees to Russia, he'd be calling me tomorrow, like, we gotta do a show.
Actually, that's true.
Right? America would be like, can we shut the doors?
That's true. Okay. All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, audience members. We hope that you enjoyed the show. If you've got any comments or questions in regards to the show, you can hit us up at the Esteban Hour on any of the social media platforms. And as I always say, if you have a goal or accomplishment that you've achieved for yourself today, don't forget to say, this is how we do it. Good night.